A warm good evening, all. Welcome to yet another episode of My School, My Pride. In this series, we are aiming to showcase the journey of young intellectuals and outstanding students who have achieved something beyond their studies to pursue their passion and brought pride and prominence to their school with the expert guidance from their teachers. So, the star of today's episode are Madhumati Anand, Vyzag Ajith, Sanjula Sreekumar from Amrita Vidyalayam Puthiyakavu, Kerala, to share their experience on how they developed a structural principle called Tensegrity, a process to package delicate payloads that could be airdropped without damaging disaster relief scenarios, which has won two US patents, along with their mentor, Gayathri Manikutty, who currently serves as the assistant professor at AMMACHI lab, Amritapuri. So I welcome all of you to today's episode. So my first question is to Madhu. Hi, Madhu.
Hi.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about your invention and what is Tensegrity?
So a tensegrity is a very simple structure. It's made up of exactly three components: struts, chords, and padding. When I say struts, I refer to the rigid rods. You can see here the rigid bamboo rods, which form the backbone of the structure. Chords refer to the threads. Here are the black threads that connect the struts into a neatly spherical structure. The chords are under tension, whereas the struts are under compression, and they hold the struts and therefore the entire structure in a dynamic equilibrium. The rigidity of the structure is what allows it to absorb shock upon impact. A payload is usually suspended from the center, and it has to be done in such a way that it doesn't touch the struts. It's typically surrounded by a layer of padding. In this case, we have used coir, as this maintains the temperature of the payload, in this case, the medicines, which are quite cold, and also to prevent it from falling out of the tensegrity. Upon impact with the ground, the impact momentum is dissipated throughout the structure, and this protects the payload from breaking.
So yeah, how did you come up with this idea of Tensegrity?
So the idea of using an eco-friendly tensegrity structure for our payload delivery began in a strange place, with actually a completely different concept in mind. It was as an entry for a science competition called the Raman Young Science Innovator Award, or the RYSI. I made my first tensegrity there while looking at a NASA Super Bowl as my inspiration. I wanted to make a ball-shaped robot that can roll, just like how this ball can roll across terrains of different planets. I saw some YouTube videos online and was able to make a structure using drinking straws and rubber bands. However, the one I built didn't really work, as I had yet to learn a lot about the physics which allows a tensegrity structure to have its shape and function. It was selected for the finals for this award, but unfortunately I didn't win. But I've decided to play around a bit with my first tensegrity. And for example, I tried suspending a pearl PET plastic container with glass beads from my tensegrity and dropped it from a 2-story building. And I was quite surprised to see that the glass didn't break. And I thought that was pretty cool, but I didn't really see much for the future. But that changed as the times changed and eventually resulted in our finished product.
Okay, Madhu. So my next question is to Sanjula. So what motivated you to come up with this Tensegrity structure for airdropping medical supplies? Yes, Sanjula, you can unmute. Hope the question is Sanjula. Are you there? Hope she is facing some technical issues. Sanjula, am I audible to you? Okay. I think Sanjula is having some technical glitch. Sanjula, am I audible to you?
Yeah, now it's fine.
Yeah, you heard what asked.
Why didn't you?
No. Okay. I'll repeat the question one more. What motivated you to come up with this Tensegrity structure for airdropping medical supplies? You are on mute. You are on mute.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. So what basically motivated us is Madhu's project for which she took for Raman Awards. And you remember the floods which happened in 2018 and 19. So it left us with a great impact. Like our school was a camp for flood relief, and there we collected a lot of necessary items like clothes, food, and all. And yeah, that was a really great impact, which gave us a motivation to do this project. And in 2019, in our school, an aero club was started. Like and Gayathri Manikutty ma'am, Ashish sir, and Akshay sir were our mentors. And during the club meetings, we got we got an opportunity to speak about Kerala floods. And from there, we learned that Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham had a 24/7 helpline, and they told us that the medicines which were in most need was insulin and all. And if this insulin patient, not insulin, diabetes patient, if they didn't get insulin on time, they'll have many health issues. So we thought, okay, why not airdrop these medicines for emergency supplies.
Okay, Sanjula, thank you. So next to Vyzag, how did the Aero Club in your school help in this project? Could you please explain a little more about this?
So the Aero Club is an initiative that our school started, and Ashit sir from Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham has helped us and a few other students from 9th, 11th standards and to build fixed wing aircrafts and also to fly them. And well, the flying was the most interesting part. We really enjoyed it. And all three of us were the members of the Aero Club since its inception. And with the help of the mentors from the Aero Club, we were able to perform a series of tests to really understand the limits of our tensegrity. And starting from 25 meters and increasing it to a height up to 75 meters, we did a series of drop tests on both soft surface and on hard pavements. On our first test, we tried it with 2 insulin vials, 10 injection needles, and 1 strip of 10 tablets. And in the next, we doubled our payload. And we were thrilled to know that in both of the tests, our payloads were completely intact. And yeah, that was such a really light up moment for us. And because of the Aero Club, we were able to showcase our work to Dr. Kuryakos, who was the chief scientist of Kerala State Disaster Management Association, authority, KSDMA. And he was able to give us insight on the challenges the first responders faced during disaster management situations. And this really helped us further improve our project.
Okay, thank you, Vaisya. So, next question is to you as a mentor, Gayatri ma'am. Yeah, what's the role of mentors in helping students coming up with this type of project innovation?
Thank you, ma'am. So I think mentorship is a very unique process, and it is very unlike any other experience that one typically has. There is a saying which says, "Tell me and I'll forget. Show me and I may remember, but involve me and I will understand." So you see, what a mentor does is a mentor gives time to the children, listens to the children, and tries to genuinely involve them in the learning process so that the children can really develop their skills. They build a relationship with the mentor. what happens normally in schools is there is one teacher with 40 children, and it is very difficult for the teacher to form a relationship with every child, right? Because they have that much time and they have so many children to deal with. Unless the child takes the initiative, it is very difficult. But with a mentorship, it is a one-on-one thing. There is a child or a team of 2 or 3 children, and there is a mentor. So that closeness, that bondness is able to, form. So in around 2016, actually, Amma called me one day. And actually what happened was that I had taken a group of 8 children. And just out of my interest, I started teaching them robotics. And I, made them participate in a competition. And then I went and told Amma, they did well at the state level, but we didn't really do well in the national level. And then Amma is like, Mole, that is because you have to teach them over a year they are young children. You can't just give them like 10 days, one month, and just take them to a competition. So it was really Amma who encouraged me to start teaching robotics and digital computing and physical computing to the children. And then around 2010, I was selected by Atal Innovation Mission, which is part of Niti Aayog. And they selected me as a mentor of change for Amrita Vidyalayam, Puthiyakavu, and Amrita Vidyalayam, Thalassery schools. So for the last 3-4 years, I've had the pleasure to mentor over 150 teams or so in various different competitions and challenges. And each time they win, I think I win, so I celebrate with them. When they lose, I cry with them. It is like they are part of me, and we just, it's a beautiful bond. So I would say that one thing I've learned with mentorship is that it is a constant learning process. When we are working on problems, even on this problems, if you take, I tell you, the children know about the tensegrities and how it works and the whole thing much better than me. They can start taking lessons from me, even though I was a mentor and I'm supposed to, guide them. What ends up happening is that at some point in time, the mentees become the mentor. So it is a constant learning process. So the mentors must have an open mind that they don't know. They don't know everything. They are not here to just teach anything, but to learn from the children as much as they're teaching. Also, the other thing is that the mentors must be open about their life experiences, which I think is very important, because successes and failures are part of life. So we have to help the children understand that, yes, in some things we may succeed, in some things we don't. And if I can share my personal life journey and say, oh, see, these are the times I succeeded and these are the times I failed, they also develop that openness to accept, okay, everything is the part of the journey. You win some, you lose some, but at the end of the day, we all learn. And the last thing I will say is that the mentor is somebody who will help the children learn to think for themselves. So the mentor will ask open-ended questions. The mentor will encourage them to reflect upon whatever they're doing and why did something happen. So it is, as I said, a discovery process, a learning process, but the learning is initiated by the children. They are doing some project, and you ask them questions, you ask them something, and they want to find out more because it is their project and they want to be the experts in their project. So I think that mentorship is a process of opening up the thinking of the children to develop a growth mindset, and it is a mutual learning process. So that's.
Yes, ma'am. This type of mentorship is required for the students in this age, so that like creative and other knowledge will increase more in the students. Yeah. So coming back to Madhu, yeah. What happened next? Could you please describe how the project evolved into the patent system?
So as Sanjula mentioned, it was only after the major floods in 2019 and 20 here in our state that we really started to think about how we could help, how we could do something for the people who are suffering, because we were lucky enough to not be that badly affected, but we wanted to try and help. So we started discussing with our mentors how we could use some of our projects from Aero Club. And then I realized that my Tensegrity project could be used in this situation as well. So we had talked about transporting payloads and how it's difficult to ensure their safety, as well as how difficult it is to ensure they retain their structure or function upon being airdropped. And here, the usage of a tensegrity to absorb shock from such a fall was born. Like it seemed ideal. So we decided that we wanted to create tensegrities, but if they were made out of things like plastic or rubber or whatever, it would just cause environmental pollution and like a significant quantity. So we decided to create it using fully biodegradable structures. Our main goal at the time was to airdrop fragile medical payloads in particular, specifically medical, because that seemed to be the most urgent and like it could not wait. You can wait on food, you can wait a little bit on water, but you cannot wait for something that needs to be supplied urgently. And after some research, we decided on insulin because Kerala is the diabetes capital of India, and there's like a humongous percentage of our population with it. So we decided that would be a good place to start. You can see this picture that I'm sharing. This is one of the tensegrities that we've started. You can see here, it's made out of something called cane or rattan cane, which is leftovers from the cane industry, which is used for making furniture. And we also have jute strings, which while they are a product of their own, are fairly cheap when compared to other biodegradable materials that we have looked at. They're also incredibly strong, which is very helpful. Based on all the information Sanjula researched, we decided to work on the airdropping of insulin in such a structure. We packed the medicine in this one. I'll show the structure right here. One second.
Yeah.
So you can see the structure I'm holding up right here. This is the payload, the model of how we would drop. This would be tied inside the tensegrity. So inside, we would first wrap the medicines in a newspaper to secure them before covering them in coir. The coir would serve both as a shock absorbent property as well as an insulating property. Then when we open the package, get the newspaper wrap layer, we would have insulin vials, we would have pills and packages of that, as well as one-time usage and disposable needles. We've done several tests with these, and we found that our structure is very much capable of protecting these from a height. Another good purpose of the coir we've seen is that it has insulating properties. So insulin has to be kept at a certain temperature, otherwise it will spoil. So this, if packaged with something like an ice pack, can keep it insulated rather. It can keep it cooler for much longer temperatures. We presented our first prototype in the NSO, which is a science competition or the National Science Olympiad in 2019, run by Amrita University. Here we won second prize, which was great. It was amazing. And it was such a motivation to move on. It was in the robotics category. This was conducted in Ettimare, and it was a huge win for us. And that's what motivated us to keep moving it forward. We also later wrote a research paper of our project and submitted it to FabLearn Asia 2020, which is a conference held in Thailand. And the three of us, we got accepted and got a chance to present our very first research paper in Thailand, and it was amazing. And with each presentation, we got feedback from experts from across the globe, which was mind-blowing because we got to meet so many great people who's like their minds and the way they can think and the way they can express their ideas, like it's almost magical. And we could improve our designs, refine our ideas. It was super helpful. And all of this effort culminated in finally me creating a very modular structure for the tensegrity. We've gone through like over 20 different designs. And finally, we've come up with one or two structures, which we deemed as the best in terms of like amount of product used, easiest to create, easiest to unpack, easiest to deliver. It's the right size to mass ratio. All of those took testing. So, and we got the ideal size. And with this, we applied for a US patent, which was granted actually as two. So we got a bonus as a main patent and then as a divisional patent in 2022. We also applied for an Indian patent, which is currently still pending.
Yeah. So, Madhu, I should appreciate all of you three for this wonderful project and for your patent. And congratulations. So, yeah, coming back to Sanjula. So, who was your inspiration for working on project with this societal impact?
Yeah. So our inspiration is actually Amma, Like I think for all Amrita Vidyalayam students, it's Amma, it is Amma who's the inspiration, who gives us the inspiration. Like uh, she for decades, she has been doing this, she has been serving a world community, So it's basically that. And in our school also we are taught what Amma teaches. Like uh, we're not just taught how to use technology. Like with that, they which we need in life. Like they teach us not just the language of technology. They teach us how to use this technology to help people. How to use this technology, to to give something to the humanity. And yeah, that's it.
Okay. Okay, Sanjula. And Vaisag, what were some of the challenges you faced while developing this project?
We faced a great deal of challenges. We had to learn completely new skills. We had to learn how to build the tensegrities in a modular structure so that it can be assembled quickly. We had to learn how to fly the drone, and we had to learn how to write the research paper, and also to present our ideas in a clear and concise manner. While building the tensegrity, we learned that the tensegrity is made with jute strings and cane sticks were actually very lightweight. And the jute strings are non-elastic, so the tensegrities can be made into a very solid structure. And since jute strings are non-elastic like rubber, the tensegrities had to be made in a great precision. We had to cut the jute strings to exactly the right length, and cut the cane sticks to exactly the right length, so that the tensegrity holds up its shape. And jute strings being natural, they tend to fray after a couple of uses after the drop tests. So biodegradable tensegrity cannot be used for more than 4 to 5 times without rebuilding. And then we had the pandemic hit, and it really hindered us from working together on this project. We couldn't pull in our ideas and work on experimenting them. And after our school reopened, we began with where we stopped. And Madhu this year actually got an opportunity to present at the DIDAC India 2022 Tech Expo in Bangalore International Convention Center. She also got to present our project in front of top officials of Atal Innovation Mission, which is under Niti Aayog in Puducherry. This gave us a lot of media publicity, and we are really grateful for the interest this work has garnered.
Okay, thank you, Vaisha. Then coming back to Gayatri ma'am. So given your experience working with schools, what can schools do to promote a culture of innovation?
So Vyzag just talked about some of the challenges that the children faced when they were doing this project, right? So one of the things that I think all children today, all the young children today, they are facing is this is a technology age, much more than when I was young and I had to learn technology. They are literally born into an age where the technology is really rapidly rising and it is just becoming ubiquitous, right? So now it is so important that the children develop mental flexibility to be able to embrace whatever challenge is given to them as an opportunity to innovate and use technology as a means to create something, to make a change, right? So actually, I was reading a book by Dr. Tony Wagner from Harvard, and he had outlined 7 critical skills that all the children in the world today need to know, right? And most, even the best schools in India, in the world, do not really teach these skills as such, right? One is critical thinking and problem solving in terms of hands-on learning, in such kind of socially relevant projects and things like that. Then collaboration across networks, in the sense that you are having to partner with children who are not necessarily all in the same area, but in different geographies or different locations. You have to use like Zoom meeting, like what we are using now, to be able to effectively communicate, to be able to influence each other, like that. The third is agility and adaptability. So things change. Today, what is technology? Tomorrow isn't. Today, for example, we are dealing with currency notes. Tomorrow, it will be Bitcoins, right? We do not know what is there in store for us 10 years or 20 years from now. So we need that agility and adaptability, right? Then the fourth thing is initiative and entrepreneurialism, which means how can children think about becoming like a startup owner, right? So you'll be surprised that the number of initiatives that are coming up world over, where if you look at India, right? India has a very large demographic dividend, which means the number of young people in India is very large. Now, if everybody becomes a job seeker, then who is there to provide jobs for all of them, right? So somebody has to be job providers. And how do you become a job provider? Only by becoming an entrepreneur or a startup owner, right? So, but the schools as such have not been structured. The entire, if you look at the CBSE curriculum or ICSE curriculum or any curriculum, entrepreneurship is not part of any syllabus in any school, right? So how will the children today survive? If you just learn the skills, who is going to give you the job? You have to provide job for others. Nobody is giving you the job, isn't it? Then the fifth thing I will say is technical writing in terms of research article writing, effective communication in terms of technical communication, right? So children need to learn how to convey their ideas, how to present themselves, not just at a school level, but like these children, they had to present at an international level. So you have to gear them up how to do public speaking at an international level, right? The other thing is about how do you do research? How do you look at data which is there online? How do you collect them and assimilate information for this particular, like something innovative like this? How do you do such kind of research, right? And the last thing I will say is curiosity and imagination to find out why is this happening? If this is happening, why only this way? Why not that way, right? So the thing is that it is not like the schools are not trying to provide the experience, but the thing is schools have a curriculum to follow, they have a syllabus to complete, and it often leads less time to do explorations like this. But today, Atal Innovation Mission is really encouraging schools to have Atal Tinkering Labs, which gives us the space for the children to work beyond the regular curriculum and have such open-ended experiments. And I would really like to call out on Puthiyakavu, Amrita Vidyalayam Puthiyakavu School and Amrita Vidyalayam Thalassery School to be one of the pioneers in Kerala, among the Kerala schools, to have such an ecosystem for their school students, right? So the influence, the vision that Amma has for all of Amrita and for Amrita Vidyalayam schools is what really, I think, drives and motivates the principals, the teachers to embrace this and try to bring this. So what really, even the top schools around the world are struggling. Our schools are having already started making a progress towards it. So I think if schools really want to set up a culture of innovation and entrepreneurship within the school ecosystem, it means that the schools must ask the children how to ask good questions, socially relevant questions. How to understand that there is no really right or wrong answers. There are answers, but really there is nothing right or wrong. Try it and see. Maybe it will work, maybe it won't work. So just because something doesn't work doesn't mean anything. How do you look through large amount of information and how do you say this is relevant, right? How do you figure that out? How do you make your own decisions? How do you say, this is the career path I want to follow based on, okay, I did this project. Wow, this was wildly successful. So many people want this. So many people are impacted. I am now going to become an entrepreneur who is championing this product or this idea, right? And then
Ma'am, you are not audible.
so that they
Yeah.
will be able to drive their passion into whatever they want, right? So I think that these are some things that are very essential for schools, and our schools are really coming up and building. More and more Amrita Vidyalayams are actually coming into the fold that I am aware of, with Atal Tinkering Labs and initiatives like robotic labs and all that. So I think the vision that Amma has, if more and more schools adopt it and embrace it, I think we will really have a very vibrant culture in schools. That's my impression of it.
Okay, ma'am. So again, the question is to you, ma'am. You are the faculty and senior researcher from AMMACHI lab, Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham. So in what all ways is Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham supporting innovations in school?
Okay. So there are actually very many ways in which Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham is supporting the Amrita schools. So I am part of AMMACHI Labs. AMMACHI Labs is a computer-human interaction research center. So AMMACHI is Amrita Multimodal Application and Computer-Human Interaction. That is the acronym. So we are basically a computer-human interaction research center, and our focus is on skill development. So when we were established in 2009, the idea was that we have a large number of people who are living in the villages in India today, right? And Amma has time and again emphasized this fact that the villages are the soul of India. We don't want everybody to migrate from villages to the cities in search of better opportunities. We need to develop the infrastructure and the people in the villages. So how can we do that? We do that through skill development. If there are opportunities in the villages, if there are ways where we can have better productivity in terms of agriculture, we can have lots of small and micro enterprises in the villages. We can have an ecosystem which can support the culture, right? We can even have systems where the villagers can connect with distributors in the cities. So they don't have to migrate, but they supply their produce. But for that, it means that the villagers must know entrepreneurship, must know how to, what is the state of, price of products and what is the market, how to understand the dynamics of the market, what is important. So all this is part of skill development. Actually originally started with skill development with the focus on women in villages, because typically women don't migrate because they have their family in the villages, they stay in the villages. And when you start working with women in the villages, invariably children come along, right? You can always say there is always a child with a mother, right? It is always the case. So when you start empowering women, you start seeing there are curious children. They come and tag on their mother's pallu and sari and say they also want to learn something, even though they are tiny. They sometimes come and say, okay, you're teaching this to my mother, but how did you do this? How did you create this? So they are more curious about these things. So that's why we started with women empowerment as the focus of AMMACHI Labs through skill development. And in the process also, we started pulling in children. We believe that the children are the future of any nation, and therefore developing children becomes a very essential part, as much as skilling people today is of critical importance to India. Future skills are also very important to keep India in competitive edge, right? Otherwise, we will not stay ahead. So that is how it all started. So a focus like a research center like AMMACHI Labs is a huge asset because of the focus on skill development. Now, not only is there AMMACHI Labs, there is Amrita TBI. So Amrita Technology Business Incubator, what they do is they go to the schools and again provide entrepreneurship training and innovation training, and they actually fund startups. They fund good ideas and provide them opportunities, career pathways, so that they can learn to bring up the entrepreneurship ecosystem. We also have research centers like Amrita Create, where they do a lot of support to the students in terms of academics. So if they are having any kind of any support that they need in their academics, also to look at various other means of learning, creative ways of learning, right? So Amrita Create pushes, so they have this initiative that was done across Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham called virtual labs, which what it means is that if students don't have access to laboratory equipments, why is it that they can't learn? Can we do experiments on a computer in a virtual background, a virtual medium, and can you learn through simulations? So in the computer, I have a beaker and I pour some chemical, and then I have another chemical and I can show the chemical reaction happening. So the child is actually pouring a chemical A and a chemical B. They can choose what they want to learn. They can experiment with this. So such kind of innovative initiatives. So currently AMMACHI Labs has another very big funding project called Skill E-Labs, where what we're trying to do is to promote vocational education at school level. So can you learn, let's say, motorcycle maintenance? Can you learn to repair your own bike? Why do you need to always say that somebody else has to come and do repair for me? Doing hands-on work like that helps the children open up and have a broader appreciation for vocational skills, because they are doing it. They will have respect for other people who are doing vocational skills. So I think that Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham, Amrita University has a whole lot. This is only the initiatives that I'm telling from Amritapuri campus. We have like so many other campuses across India today, and big campuses, like the most recent one being the Faridabad campus that was inaugurated by the Prime Minister. So the opportunities are plenty, and I think that the focus and the drive and the vision that Amma has set for Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham and Amrita Vidyalayam schools, I think that that is really, some gives us opportunities and makes us think about new ways where we can push innovation and entrepreneurship at school level. And we are getting a lot of support from the government of India. We are being part of the national mission as well. So Atal Tinkering Lab is a national mission. So by partnering with the government, working hand in hand with the government, and having this culture where we want to do compassion-driven research, where we want to impact the people in the society, I think Amrita is doing a lot in this aspect.
Yes, ma'am, you are really right. So coming back to Sanjula, how important is it for students like you to do such projects?
Yeah, for students like us to get introduced to the world of science and technology.
I think Sanjala is facing some technical problem.
Helps us to open our
Sanjala,
minds
your voice is breaking.
and to look beyond
Yeah,
the walls of uh,
yeah. Right now it's fine. Yeah, you can continue.
so did anybody hear what I said?
No, actually, you can continue once.
Okay, yeah.
You can continue from the start. Okay.
Okay, it's fine. So for the students like us to get introduced to these projects, like to get introduced into the world of science, and technology, maths and all, it helps us to open our minds and to look beyond the walls of our classrooms. And, you know, we'll only understand the practical problems of building these kinds of scalable structures when we work on it. And yeah, uh, mm. and like by doing such projects, what we are capable of, what all things that we can promote to a community, like what all things we can do for our country. We know about it, and we don't have to worry if our project is not a success, because by doing such project, it lays a what do you say, it lays like it helps us to improve our personality and our confidence, and it helps us to improve our creativity and all. And when we do such project, we get the opportunity to go to different conferences and exhibitions where we'll see new people and their ideas. We'll get to interact with them and learn their ideas. And all these things, it will help us to improve our personality and and our skills. So I really, really want a lot other students, all of you know the innovative minds. I want them to do such things because it will help us. It will help us in a lot of in a lot of ways.
Okay. Thank you, Sanjala. And coming back to Vyzag, could you please share some advice for youngsters?
I would say to all my fellow innovators that innovation is a long journey. Don't worry if your projects didn't work out the way you want them to. As Madhumati mentioned, it took us over 20 structures and countless amount of troubleshooting to get to the product we have now. But the great amount of time was sped up by our good fortune of meeting with the experts in this field who were giving us valuable insights on our projects. Their feedbacks and the way we addressed them, it really was a developing stage for the whole project. And we had wonderful mentors who were willing to help us who were willing to work with us, and we had encouraging parents to support us, and we had enough free time to really work on our idea from and bringing it from paper to the product we have right now. In reality, most of the projects are not as streamlined as ours has been, so accepting rejections and fixing errors are part of the process. So keep persisting with your ideas, and surely success will be yours.
Okay. Thank you, Vyzag. And coming back to Madhu, how can this project be taken forward, or how you share your thoughts? Could you please share your thoughts on it?
So the project was intended to distribute critical supplies to those stranded from their usual means of delivery, especially in the context of natural disasters. Our project focuses on the supply of insulin to disaster affected areas because, as I mentioned, diabetes is a severe problem here in Kerala. However, going beyond what we've built and tested, the Tensegrity structure itself can be used to safely airdrop different kinds of materials, such as other types of medication, packets of food, water, and other resources. It may even have applications in defense and construction, which we have yet to explore. However, designing a prototype is straightforward, whereas manufacturing it to scale is an entire other situation. One design of the Tensegrity is a simple, which can even a lay person who has never really used one with slight amount of training can mass produce easily. But others are very complicated. They can take quite a bit of time to, put together, assemble, and get ready for deployment, even by a machine. Replicating our structures on a large scale needs a concentric deployment strategy. And through the ATL lab, or the Adult Tinkering Lab in our school, and with the help, of course, with our mentors from Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham, we hope to make a societal impact with our invention and actually put it to use as a package delivery solution in emergency medical supplies.
Okay, thank you so much, Madhu. So coming back to Gayathri ma'am, how do you see the Amrita model of university school partnership, model of university school partnership developing into a best practice for empowering students in India through skill development?
So this Amrita's model of having university and school partnership is really Amma's vision. It is not like something I can give credit to anybody but Amma, because to me, Amma is like an United Nations. She thinks about so many different interventions. She starts so many different things in parallel, and it all seems like, my goodness, why is Amma doing so many different things? But at some point in time, you see how they all connect with each other, how it makes perfect sense. So starting an university and having a school close to each other gives the opportunity in many ways. Like, for example, our schools, our college, Amrita University students have an opportunity to go to schools programs where the students get an opportunity to volunteer at the school level. Therefore, they get to learn the things I talked to you about mentorship and the advantages of mentoring children. They get to mentor young children. Now they are in college. They get to be mentors. They get to be role models. They get to influence their life, which also makes them responsible, because now there are young kids who are following their role model, right? So this kind of having a university and a school together, first, it gives opportunity for faculty like me to work with the school children, therefore develop them. So we don't have to only work when the students come at the college, when they are enrolled, but we are working with them pre-university. So we are supporting them early on so that they can learn and they can start developing and having an open mind. The other thing, as I said, is having the opportunity for the college students, the engineering students, the social work students, anybody who is interested in actually working on the ground, to be able to work with young children and to be able to mentor them. When I had the opportunity to be outside India for several years, and I have seen this model very, very successful and highly effective outside India. But for some reason, I have not seen this structure anywhere else other than in Amrita. And that is why I completely attribute it to Amma's vision. Amma knew that building such an ecosystem where you can have a partnership between the university and the school is a win-win, both for the university and the school. And just imagine, young students like them, right? They are already inventors, they are already innovators. If you just wait and see where they are going to go. They are going to go to great heights. So it is that they are carrying the Amrita brand, they're carrying the Amrita name, and this kind of an intervention, even in fact, I would say the very effort that you are doing right now, encouraging, giving a platform for the children to have a program like My School, My Pride, where you are encouraging children to come talk about their project, discuss their experiences. isn't this itself a unique opportunity, right? This is also a kind of a university encouraging school students. It's a university school partnership. And I am very proud of the fact. I think Amrita is the only university which is actively pushing this kind of partnership model, primarily driven by Amma's vision. And I think that this is the best practice. When I had an opportunity to go to Niti Aayog and talk to the mission director, Dr. Chintan Vaishnav, and also to meet the Niti Aayog CEO, Mr. Parameshwaran, I was telling them about this. I think this should be replicated everywhere, and we should have such partnership model so that it is a learning process. There will be rough. We are all like stones. When we come together, there are rubbing that is happening and smoothening that needs to happen. But eventually, we will come as shiny stones. We will benefit from this. So I think that this is a model that should be replicated. And as I was saying, there are many initiatives at Amrita that is being done to develop children at a young level. And if more and more colleges adopt it, go beyond the university, go beyond the campus, and think more, more openly. In fact, I would say go to the villages and start from the rural schools and start working with the people in the rural schools, just like how AMMACHI Labs is doing. I think that there is so much to learn, so much to grow, and this partnership will be something that will be really will change the face of India, will really bring an innovation and enthusiasm in India that probably we are little bit lacking in terms of our education system. It will invigorate the education system that we have and really push it to really great heights. So I very much think this is a best practice, and I think it should be replicated more to see the effectiveness of it, to prove it as really a method.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am. Actually, it's really an honor for me to meet all of you today. And congratulations once again, all of you, for this wonderful achievement. So from your words itself, I can understand that you worked really hard to achieve this. So hope you'll do something more innovative idea in next like coming years or like that. So thank you once again. Thank you all for joining us today, and thank you all for watching us. And we'll come up with the next episode. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.